All right, hello, and welcome back to the Tuesday at 2:12 p.m. Own Court Podcast stream. Today we are looking back at the first round of last year's draft and sorry, I spoiled it. I'm sorry, I spoiled what we're doing. But we're taking a look back, seeing what a lot of guys got right, what a lot of guys got wrong, see what I got right, see what I got wrong. Admittedly, last year we did have the podcast, so I did get to talk about this draft a little bit, but admittedly, my knowledge on the 2023 NFL draft was not where I want it to be this year. I did not see as many guys as I wanted to, but hopefully we are going to try and fix that this year. But I thought just to kind of start us off, do something a little fun, have a little goof, not really, but I thought it would be fun to see if I can just off the dome rip the first round of last year's draft. We've got 10 minutes for all 32. Really? For all 32 picks, I guess? I thought there was 31. Yeah, Miami Dolphins, NA. I don't know what I'm gonna have to do for that, but whatever. But without further ado, let's roll on this quiz. Okay, there we go. Carolina Panthers would be Bryce Young. Texans, obviously Stroud. My typing's gonna get exposed here, and then also Will Anderson Jr. I don't have to put the junior in. There's Anthony Richardson for the Colts, Devon Witherspoon for the Seattle Seahawks, Paris Johnson Jr. Yes, it'd be Tyree Wilson over there. Falcons took Bijan Robinson. Eagles took Jalen Carter. This is slight so far. This is going to trip me up. This is someone we're going to come back to because the next one is Skoronski. Yep, there it is. Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs. I remember that was a weird pick. This was, oh my God, I'm totally blanking. Defensive end out of Iowa. I didn't like him. Van Ness. Lucas Van Ness to the Packers? What? Lucas Van Ness. There we go. Pittsburgh was, I believe, Roderick. We're just going to go Jones. Jones. There we go. Iowa State outside linebacker, that's Will McDonald. I don't have to put in the fourth. Commanders, we're not going to talk any more about that. Patriots, we're not going to talk any more about this one either. Detroit Lions, Iowa inside linebacker, that was, this isn't his last name. No. Come back to it. Pittsburgh defensive tackle out of Pitt. Huh. Oh, that's Kalijah Cansey. Cansey? There it is. Seattle Seahawks, Ohio State wide receiver. Obviously, that is Smith Shigba. Okay, there it is. Chargers wide receiver Quentin Johnston. I loved Quentin Johnston coming out of the draft, famously. BC wide receiver, it's obviously Flowers. Zay Flowers. Minnesota Vikings, it's Jordan Addison. Giants, go Terps, Deontay Banks. Bills, it's Kincaid. Yep. Oh, and we got Mozzie Smith already for the Cowboys. Who did we put in for Smith? Oh, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Okay. Jags, Oklahoma. Oh, well, this is tough. I totally know this too, and that's what hurts. We're gonna come back to it. Clemson defensive end. This was not Brazil. Oh, he went one pick later, but the Bengals took the guy I liked a little more. Tough. We're gonna skip it. There's Nolan Smith too. A lot of Smiths apparently. That was Felix Anadike Uzoma, and we are back to square one. Tennessee offensive tackle. Oh, I know this. And I swear I don't want to look at like the actual draft that I have up in the other tab. I haven't clearly, or else I would just be like moving. Miles Murphy was the Bengals pick. We have. I keep thinking Tyler Gayton for Oklahoma, but he's in this class. We're only missing three, I think. Yeah, we're only missing three. Lions inside linebacker. I know this, but it's just slipping my. It's Jack something. I feel like. I don't know. There's Tennessee offensive tackle. I know this. Not Paris Johnson, not Broderick Jones. Was it? Oh, dude, this is gonna kill me. Someone people liked. I think. Ugh. Case you know, his offensive tackle is a bit of a weak spot for me. Jeez. This Iowa inside linebacker, I know his name. It's not like I think it's Jack something. Jack. Mm, it's not Jack. What the fuck am I talking about? I might have to give up on this one, and this might kill me. Uh, okay. Yeah, I think that's all we have today. That's Darnell Wright. I knew Jack Campbell, bro. I was right there with Cunningham. Anton Harrison. I'm okay with missing, but after I've just embarrassed myself, of course, we're gonna go with it's been a minute, okay? But we're gonna peep the first round review. Believe. No, this isn't graded. I don't think. No, I want something that's graded. Here, CBS Sports. Sports. Okay, yeah, they have grades. So we're going to take a look back, kind of talk about what I can remember from uh, kind of the buzz around these guys around draft time last year. Talk a little bit about what I thought about them if they were somebody I scouted in depth, and then look back at the season they've had so far. Look back at the grades CBS Sports has given them, and just review uh, who was right, who was wrong. So these first, oh, all the rounds. I'm not doing all the rounds. Panthers, Bryce Young, obviously. This was not a bad choice in hindsight. Well, in hindsight, obviously you would have wanted to take Stroud, but I truly believe that Bryce Young is as good as CJ Stroud. Bryce Young is just in a significantly worse situation. I said this like pretty much on draft day. I was like, I would rather go to the Texans than now after draft day. I was like, I'd rather be CJ Stroud right now because I think he's in a much better position to succeed. And I don't see a lot of help for Bryce Young in Carolina. And I mean, that's true. I think Bryce Young still has the tools to be good. I still think he's talented enough to be good, but I don't think he is in a good situation at all. American Fiction, by the way, you see the ad right here. Wonderful movie, loved it, really funny. But this is not Brunette Eminem on TikTok, which is where I talk about movies. So is the mic pointed at my face? No, because I'm good at this. We're going to CJ Stroud, a guy I loved, and Tyler really liked coming out of the draft. And okay, and this I said was a good pick. I loved their pick of Tank Dell. I liked Nico Collins. I didn't, of course, foresee him being this good, but I said this is a solid weapon for CJ Stroud to latch onto. Laramie Tunsil was there to protect Stroud. I was like, this is a great situation for him. This is a great situation for the Texans. I could see them, a lot of people had them at like 3-4 wins. I said, I could see this team at like 6 or 7 wins. Obviously, did way better than that. Won a playoff game. Uh, but my New Year's resolution is to be less cowardly, right? Because I was like, I really like this Texans team, but I feel like people are going to flame me if I'm like, this could be like an 8-9 win team. I felt like people were going to flame me, so I was scared to like say it. But hey, I mean, look where we are now. I should have. So that's my New Year's resolution to be less cowardly. Will Anderson, I also said I really liked this on draft day. I went on the podcast and I was like, I really like the process here. If you have a guy who you really love, who you think is going to be a franchise cornerstone for a long time in your organization, you trade up and get him. And I said they were able to get two massive pieces, one to kind of lead the offense, one to kind of lead the defense with Stroud and Anderson. I thought Anderson was spectacular. He was my edge too. We'll get to that. But I liked it. I was like, this is a confident organization. This shows that they know what they want to do. They have a plan, and they are not scared to go out and get it. And it's worked out. Clearly, Anderson had a great year. Obviously, not a ton of sack numbers, but pressures were good. Sacks were good enough for a rookie. And it's looking like, I mean, nobody's talking about this draft day trade now. And that's exactly what you want to do when you're the Texans. Because if one of these two guys sucked, we're sitting here like, oh, the Texans are so dumb. Why did they make that trade? But neither of them do, and now everybody like nobody talks about it because it was the right thing to do. Richardson unfortunately hurt very early, and wow, this was awesome. This should have been Will Levis. Okay, not quite. Richardson showed out in the beginning of the year. He was just spectacular before getting injured in week like 5. He'll be back certainly next year, and I think he'll be back with kind of a chip on his shoulder that he didn't, to play out his full rookie season. I think he may look better than Stroud next year. He may look like the best QB out of this class next year. The dynamic of him being able to run and pass at such a high level, some of these things are a little less polished than you'd like to see, but the amount of raw athleticism and talent that he has is exactly what you want out of a franchise quarterback. So I did like this pick. He was my QB like 1B, or maybe he was the 1A. I don't know. I just know him and Stroud were the top two, really. And yeah, it looks good. Witherspoon's had a tough year for the Seahawks. He's done kind of a lot of what you knew he was going to do. He did hold up. He was great against the run, and he was good against physical slot guys, but on the outside, not awesome. He was getting beat by speed a little bit, and that's what you kind of expected coming into the NFL, which is why I was kind of surprised he went 5. Obviously, he is still a very talented player. He wasn't my favorite corner coming out of the draft, just because it does say he is a little smaller. And obviously, Christian Gonzalez was my guy because he was big, he was physical, he was fast, he could hold up. And we'll get to him, of course. But I don't think the Seahawks are too mad taking Witherspoon at 5. Maybe you want that. Maybe you want Gonzalez back, but I don't think they're too unhappy. B minus, I think is good for his first season. Paris Johnson Jr. Yeah, sure. I mean, This was not a guy I watched extensively before the draft. I'm remedying that this year. I'm doing more offensive linemen. That was part of my New Year's resolution for this work, my channel, and I couldn't tell you with any real. I mean, if you think I watched that many Cardinals games this year, you'd be wrong. Like I couldn't tell you too much about this. Tyree Wilson though, A grade, not quite. He's been tough this first year. A lot of the weaknesses he had in college, kind of the unrefined hands, kind of the unplanned pass rush moves, were very much exposed. Even though he is a big, massive, physical, toolsy threat, he needs to kind of hone in some of the finer details, some of the nuances of pass rushing. If he does that in a year or two, I think we're looking at a spectacular edge rusher. But that was not going to happen his rookie year. He was going to have struggles. He was going to, his weaknesses were going to get exposed. And it's about how he's going to build on that to make himself a better player for this next year. Bijan, they give it a D. Oof. Maybe in Arthur Smith's scheme, yeah. He does not love backs. Nope. We'll see next year. It's hard to judge here just because he didn't get the ball all that much. I like it, right? Obviously, Bijan's a spectacular player, but you wonder. This was the prevailing sentiment throughout the whole draft was this is way too high for a running back. You can get better guys later, But if he goes out and he balls next year and he's a Pro Bowler or All Pro, nobody's going to be saying this. Everybody's going to say, "Oh, nice pickup by the Falcons," right? And I think his skill level is better than a D. I can kind of understand where you're coming from with the draft position, but I like the Bijan Robinson pick. Jalen Carter, he started off the year super, super hot and then kind of disappeared with the rest of the Eagles defense around week 11 or 12. Off the field issues, yes, but we haven't seen that really repeated in the NFL, which is, something that who could have guessed, right? He's obviously uber talented, super good, and was tearing it up for the first half. But in the second half, he kind of did fall off. The A+ grade I do like, just because you have a lot of that interior defensive line getting older on their way out. You bring in the Jordan Davises, the Jalen Carters to kind of be that next generation to lead you into the future in that front seven. Darnell Wright, excuse me, again, did not watch a lot of Bears games. I don't have Sunday ticket. Like I don't pay for that. I have a league pass for the NBA, which once the NFL season is over, I'm going to do more basketball content. I pinky swear. But I just didn't get to watch a lot of Bears games. I didn't get to watch a lot of Darnell Wright. I liked him out of college. I thought he was a dog, but I could not tell you if he did well this year. I'm sorry, and I don't pay for PFF, so sorry. Goronski for the Titans. That's good. He is good. He shifted inside to guard, I believe, but he did not fix the Titans' offensive line, and one player was never going to do that, right? So it's kind of, it's kind of sure he's the first step, but it's hard to say because he's far from the solution. You can expect the Titans to go offensive line again this year in that Joe Alt Olufashanu direction. They stick around 7, I believe. And I mean, that's what you can expect to do just looking ahead. But I think Peter Skoronski was solid, but he didn't fix anything. It's like the third time I've said that. But Jahmyr Gibbs, yeah, we had the same discussion. Like, he's good, but he's a back. Like, I think the Lions are happy. Like, I don't think the Lions are, oh man, why did we draft a running back when we could have had Lucas Van Ness or like Will McDonald or wow, that hurts. Christian Gonzalez, yeah, but I don't think the Lions are kicking themselves really for taking a dynamic back who can help put a few more explosive plays in this offense, kind of spread the field out a little more. He can do a lot. He's a great runner as well as, like the article says, an airback. I think a D is way too harsh. He kind of had trouble finding his footing at the beginning of the year, but once he found his place in the scheme, he was more than comfortable and he was doing the things we knew he could do coming out of college. Lucas Van Ness, I did not like out of what's it called? Uh, Iowa, and going into the draft, I thought he was all speed to power, and I didn't like a lot of his hand placement. I didn't think he had a huge set of pass rush moves. Something he will be JJ Watt. No, no. Oh, better in the NFL. Okay, uh, maybe, but I didn't see it. I'm not a guy who's like this guy's going to take a big jump in the NFL because you don't see that happen very often. At 13, I was surprised to see him go off the board, but it's not. This year, B minus I think is a little generous. He was not an every down guy for Green Bay. In the playoff game, he was kind of washed. Like he was, and admittedly, that's against the Cowboys' offensive line, but other players were able to make an impact, and he kind of was a net neutral, which is not what you want out of the 13th overall pick. I think there are other edge rushers that you could have gone with here who probably could have given your team a better chance at winning. One of them, of course, being no, never mind. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Broderick Jones, offensive tackle, Jordy, who's my OT one. So the Steelers are still looking for offensive line, straight up. Definitely more on the interior, but Broderick Jones, you hope he has a slightly better season next year. He did pretty well this year, but if he can keep that pace, I think you're happy with him. A lot of offensive lines are bad in the NFL, just straight up. Like that's how it is. And when you can get a guy who you're like, okay, solid, I'm not going to complain about this guy too much. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes. That's that's what you want to get out of an offensive tackle, really. Will McDonald, here it is. Linebacker is weird. He was kind of a linebacker at Iowa State. I graded him as an edge rusher. The Big 12, my always for football at least my constant kind of thought about the Big 12 is that every coach should be oh fuck it's the guy from TikTok sorry my edge coming out of the draft I just got the disconnecting reconnecting thing on my OBS studio, so that's fun. I'm not gonna blow my own brains out, maybe somebody else's, I don't know. That's a joke, by the way. Reconnection is successful. Let's fucking go. Okay. Yeah, Will McDonald. Obviously all Pac-12, Pac-12, Big 12 coaches should be tried uh, for using him the way he was used. I thought he had an okay year for the Jets, who did not have a great year. Um, Next year, hopefully, the Jets have more media not more media attention, more positive media attention, and Will McDonald can bask in some of the spotlight of that. Here we go. Okay. I love this kid good length. He is 170 pounds. He'll throw his body around, and it just doesn't matter. Listen, Commanders are my team, of course. Do I have the jersey on me? No, I'm not getting up to go get it, frankly. He, on some of the biggest stages that we had on Thursday Night Football, or maybe it was Monday Night Football, against the Bears, against the Eagles twice, he was benched by midseason. Like that 170 pounds did not work. He was getting bitched by AJ Brown, who a lot of people get bitched by, but not to this extent. And DJ Moore was throwing him around. He was putting him in a damn spin cycle. Like this, it was an embarrassing year for Emmanuel Forbes. Now, am I ever rooting against any like draft guy or certainly anyone who the Commanders take? No, but it was a really rough year, and I don't know if I'm very unsure of his future, and that's exactly what you do not want out of a sophomore 16th overall pick. The man I thought we should have selected went at 17 to the Bill Belichick Patriots, who not anymore, of course. Christian Gonzalez. On draft night, I was convinced Christian Gonzalez murdered somebody for how far he dropped. He was spectacular in college and at Oregon. He was my DB1, and man, it was gross to see him drop all the way down to 17. Get picked after a guy like Forbes. You can make the argument, oh, a lot of these teams don't need DB. Everyone kind of needs a DB, like Christian Gonzalez in their locker room. But the injury in, I think it was early, like 5 or 6, around the same time as Richardson went down. But before that, he was playing spectacular. He had, I want to say, 2 picks. He was covering very good receivers over in the AFC East. And I was really happy with his performance. Next year, I hope he comes back better than ever. This is a guy who I will be following because I just love the way he plays, frankly. And I mean, this is a guy who is going to make a difference, and you're going to see him on some All-Pro lists in a couple of years. Jack Campbell out of Iowa, A plus. This is weird. You gave the Lions and the Falcons a D for selecting a non-premium position in the first round, but then linebacker in the first round, you gave an A plus. That's weird. Who wrote this? Sorry, I'm shit on somebody really quick. Mr. Prisco, I am a little confused. Respectfully confused, though, of course, because you have a job that I want. Um, but Campbell did have some good highlights this year. I believe one of these games, it was he made a couple good plays in pass defense, in coverage. He was good against the run. I thought he was overall average as a linebacker. And linebacker is one of those positions where it might take a few years to kind of really get into a groove at the NFL level. And this is a guy who I can definitely see getting into that groove and blossoming. But it's like tight end, kind of. It's a position that takes time to develop, really. Elijah Cansey was not a guy I liked out of Pittsburgh this year, but he has absolutely proven me wrong. Somebody has a great video on it. Let me find it. Can you guys see this or no? Yeah, you can. Okay. I don't know what any of this is, by the way. You look at this. Most of these are NBA highlights because this is the account I use to grab highlights for the YouTube videos. I don't know why there's a destroying video. Tyler sometimes goes down rabbit holes on this account. He forgets he's logged in, but I think it was these guys. Elijah Cansey. These guys have a really good video on, yeah, here it is. They have a really good video on him about how he really opens up the Tampa Bay defensive line alongside Villa and how those two kind of contrasting. It's right here, A to Z Sports. They do great work over there. I do want to collab with them at some point. That would be like a dream collab for me. But yeah, it says right here, this dynamic of smaller, faster guy and bigger, slower guy really is apparently unbeatable because Kalijah Cansey has opened up that defensive line exponentially, I guess is the word. And I think the Buccaneers are happy that they're able to pair an all-pro level defensive tackle with Kalijah Cansey, who complements his skill set very well. They play off each other very well. This was a good pick, even if I didn't like Kalijah Cansey coming out of the draft. I'll admit when I'm wrong, because I like to be wrong about the NFL draft, because it's always nice to see like a kid realizing his dreams. You know, everyone wants to be in the NFL and everybody wants to play good in the NFL. And when a guy like Kalijah Cansey gets drafted and is now playing an important role on a playoff team who just won a playoff game against the reigning NFC champs. So I obviously super happy for him. I'm never going to like keep shitting on a guy just because I didn't like him coming out of the draft. Like I'm always rooting for these guys, even if I don't have a super high grade on him. But yeah, it's Kalijah Cansey out of Pitt. I don't like that it says Pittsburgh. I think it should just say Pitt. That's me personally. You know. JSN was really good. Not really good, but he did exactly what he was drafted to do in the Seahawks scheme, and that in itself is really good. Obviously had some big plays. I believe it was against. I know it might have been Monday Night Football where he had the winning touchdown against, well, I'm struggling whoever it was, but he's done exactly what he needed to do, and he's complemented DK and Tyler Lockett really well throughout his rookie year. I think this is going to be a piece for the Seahawks to kind of build around, depending on where they go. I don't know if Pete Carroll's going to be here. I don't know if it's good. Well, Pete Carroll's not going to be there, obviously. With Pete Carroll leaving, a new regime, I think JSN will stick as a kind of core member of this team. Johnson, oh man, he was bad. Who could have told you? Me. I told you from the beginning. I told you pre-draft. I was like, this kid, I don't really like that much. I don't think he is wide receiver one, just like everyone's saying. And I named like legitimate criticisms of him. I said I don't like his prep for after the catch. You know, he's always in the air for really no reason. He's body catching these contested catches, which is not going to translate to the NFL. And I said he had some drop problems when he did have to go out and catch something with his hands, and none of you listened. You were all like, "Oh man, Quentin Johnston's so electric, deep threat, height, weight, speed freak," and you didn't listen. Frankly, some people did. Some people were on the same boat as me, but Johnston did not obviously have a good rookie year. And again, not rooting against any of these guys. I hope he does turn out well, especially for Justin Herbert's sake, man. Good God, get him some help. I wonder what a Justin Herbert trade would look like today. I mean, more than Russ, certainly. Like, how many firsts is that? Probably a ton. But anyway, yeah, Johnson did not turn out as I'm sure, and age creep with Justin Herbert and okay, whatever. I'm sure the Chargers wish they could take this back. Flowers though was great. He even got a whole TikTok song after him, which is really the mark of a good player. By the way, I hate all the TikTok. They're so annoying. Like the Kyle Pitts one's annoying. The Trace McSorley one when it first came out was so dumb. The only reason I like the Flowers one is because it's a parody of a Bruno Mars song, and I love Bruno Mars. So yeah, this is true. Flowers was really good, but he played with a really shit quarterback at BC. So, but Flowers, I mean, without Puka Nacua, without the CJ Strouds, we're looking at him as maybe an offensive rookie of the year candidate. I think he'll be top 3 or 4 in voting. Obviously not going to win it, but he had a great year. Lamar finally getting a solid receiver that he's needed for a while, I think is a breath of fresh air for him and really every Ravens fan. Addison, yep, really good. Great compliment to Justin Jefferson. And even when Jefferson was out, he was still able to do his job and kind of step into a bigger role. He did need to put on a little bit of weight. I believe he did. He got bigger. He got a little more, a little stronger. He got a little more physical with his game, and that aided him immensely. Big deep threat, and I mean, great pick from the Vikings. A grade for sure. Deontay Banks, go Terps. He had a great year for that's another A to Z Sports video that I really liked. Was it because they were praising somebody from Maryland? Yes. But yeah, he did pretty much everything you want a rookie DB to do. Like he played. Will he ever be a DB1? I'm not sure, but I think his floor is like at worst a good DB2. So Kincaid, we're hurrying this up because I keep losing connection on OBS. Tight ends take a bit to fully develop in the NFL. It's a hard position to learn how to play. So he gets a pass, kind of. He gets a bit of an excuse for his kind of underwhelming season. Mozzie Smith was not good this year. Straight up, ask Tyler about it. He's the resident Cowboys fan of the podcast. Mozzie Smith had a tough year. I don't remember who it was that they were debating between drafting him and somebody else. There was a video that came out of Jerry Jones in like the draft room being like, "Oh, are we taking Mozzie Smith or whoever else?" I think they would have been happier with somebody else. You drafted him to come in and be somebody who can hold up against the run, which is exactly what it says here, and not really pass rush. And you saw him get exposed on national television of like, hey, Mozzie Smith can't go against the run because here's the Packers O line and Aaron Jones just like running right by him. Like this, if the Cowboys could go back and take this pick back, I really believe they would. Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma was not a guy I watched in the draft, but the Jags are still looking for offensive line. Like this is kind of a theme you see where in this draft, if you took an offensive lineman, you are still looking for offensive line. And, maybe that's a testament to this tackle class. None of them have been really super outstanding, I guess. I mean, I'm going to put together my all rookie team at some point and probably make that a YouTube video, or maybe Tyler will, but it's going to be tough picking tackles out of this class. Myles Murphy, I didn't like really coming out of the draft. I thought he was okay, and that's kind of what he's been. Paired with Joseph Osai, who was another guy who I had kind of the same feeling of like he's okay, but he's not going to be amazing, right? Um, he just kind of underwhelming a little. I didn't love him out of the draft, like I said. My big thing was kind of nothing pops for him. Like he does a lot of things good, but I don't know if he does anything really great or really spectacular, and that kind of contributed to a middling rookie season. Bryan Bresee I hated, which is unfortunate because he came out of Bryan Bresee. He came out of where did he come from? High school. High school. Sir. Is Tyler on my computer? I came from Damascus, which is like right around here. So I was rooting for him, but he did not do well in the Saints, and nobody on the Saints really did all that well this year. But hopefully he has a better season next year. Nolan Smith was like silent. I'm going PFF. I need to see how many snaps he played because it was not a lot. Like it was surprisingly few. Like look at these stats. He's just like did not play. Do we not get total snaps? Because do I have to pay for total snaps? Fuck that. That's lame. Um, he was really hyped out coming out of the draft. He was my edge 3, and it just did not work out for him, I guess. He didn't play a lot on this Eagles offensive line. He is beside Hassan Reddick and totally blanking, but I mean, he's behind 2 great quality edge rushers who did a lot last year, and this 50 overall grade did not bode well for him. Enrique Ozoma, I loved coming out of the draft. I was surprised he went in the first. I had more of a late second, early third like expectation for him, even if I had him like top of the second round. And the Chiefs took swing, and I believe it worked out. The Chiefs, I think, lead the league in sacks this year, and Enrique Ozoma is part of that. Part of the reason I loved him so much was he had a draft interview come out where he really broke down his pass rushing process and his the way he makes a plan, or the way he uh, kind of makes like how he prepares himself to rush the passer on any given down. And that I was like, this is exactly what you want to hear out of an edge rusher. He's super smart, super like he had the tools to execute all these things. I think brains in the NFL are, especially for a player at edge, can be a little underrated at times. But this is exactly what you want to see, and that it worked out for the Chiefs. I'm really happy for him. But unfortunately, it does take our last pick of the first round out. Done. That was the first round. Oh, okay. I want to find Puka Nacua in this. Sorry, give me a sec, because it had all like 7 rounds. So I want to see if I can find Puka Nacua. Can I click round 5 or no? That's the trick. If a link is ever not loading, just right click and go don't even get me started. Just right click and open it in a new tab, and you should be good. We're gonna Control F. Puka. Here it is. C. Overachiever who, despite average-ish athleticism, is creative after the catch and will bounce off some tacklers. Body contorting ability to track it down the field. Very little speed and needs to get quicker to beat press at the line. He did get quicker. Like mid, like as the season went along, he got quicker, which was really funny to me. Um, but yeah, that's yeah. We drafted Cameron Cheeseman, man. Where was Cheeseman fifth or like sixth round? We drafted a long snapper, bro. This shit's ridiculous. Like maybe that was last year, but the Commanders can't draft. Adam Peters though is fixing our franchise. I don't know if you heard. Adam Peters is the Messiah. He's taking us to the promised land, brother. But that is going to be from me. That's all the stream I have in me for today. If you watched all the way through, thank you so much for watching. As always, you can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, right here, and a lot of these future streams may be on Twitch for reasons that we don't like the YouTube streaming platform very much at all, which sucks because it would be a lot nicer to have everything in one place, all of our long form content in kind of one place, but it's not quite uh, doable right now on YouTube for streaming. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, go find us on Twitter, TikTok, Spotify, Twitch at Uncourt